SAA negotiations remain deadlocked at this hour. Minister Pravin Gordhan says there is no money for the wage demand, and if the strike continues, salaries won't get paid next month. Workers are demanding an 8% salary increase and are against planned retrenchments. ENCA's Erin Bates joins me now with the latest. So, Erin, we are watching those negotiations or whatever movement by way of trying to bring the two parties to some kind of a common ground. We've gone from yesterday with the promise of further engagement and negotiations to again this morning waking up to the parties accusing each other of bad faith.
Yes, Tulas, that's right. It sounds like, according to SAA Vice President Shabangu earlier today, speaking on ENCA, that there was a U-turn on the part of SAA toward the end of negotiations. Yesterday, they started around 3 o'clock in the afternoon and went up on and off until about midnight, said Shabangu. And this surprised them. He called it a bitter disappointment and indicated that they'd actually said to SAA when the offer of, they say, 6.5% wage increases was scrapped from the table, that this was a declaration on the part of SAA of war against its workers. Of course, we had a briefing this morning from NUMSA and SACA amongst, I would say, about 100, 150 demonstrating, picketing workers here at Airways Park. And the plan is to really bring the whole aviation sector to a standstill if the wage negotiations don't make any progress this afternoon.
So, as you mentioned, this afternoon, what are we expecting? I understand that there's going to be a bit of movement, perhaps in the next half an hour or so?
We certainly hope so. From our discussions with NUMSA spokesperson Pakamile Hlubi-Majola and with Christopher Shabangu of SACA, we understood that there would be a meeting from 2 o'clock today, which we understand is ongoing. The CCMA was understood to also be partaking in that discussions with SAA, the unions, and of course the CCMA representatives. And Tladi of SAA has undertaken to speak to ENCA. He'd initially said around 1 o'clock. That's now moved to 3 o'clock. And it seems that this application or seeking of secondary strike action, NUMSA has given that notice to SAA, may be the current source of consternation for the national carrier. This would mean to us not only the existing strike ongoing most likely, but also other aviation companies that include significant NUMSA membership joining in this worker action as an act of solidarity. And I understand from speaking to Pakamile Hlubi-Majola of NUMSA earlier that the grievances extend beyond this wage dispute, which many here have said to me has been ongoing since at least April of this year. It's not just the last 2 weeks, but also around broader systemic problems at the national carrier.
Yeah, talk to us about those broader systemic problems there, Erin Bates, very quickly. They have to do with some of the implementation of the turnaround strategy and issues to do with insourcing?
Certainly, an advocate, Christopher Shabangu of SACA, which is the Cabin Crew Association of South Africa, saying that one of the proposals on the table from the unions is to actually insource some of the workers who are demonstrating. We understand they include technical crew, they include cabin crew and other personnel, obviously from the approximately 10,000 strong workforce of the national carrier. Hlubi-Majola of NUMSA saying that there are ongoing problems with corruption, with bloated tenders involving the national carrier. She cited, for example, changes at SAA Technical as a triumph and as almost a blueprint that NUMSA says could be used to remedy some of the problems at SAA. She named a few current executives at the national carrier and accused them of being subject to allegations of malfeasance and signing off corrupt deals. The names escape me, Tulas, as I stand before you now, but she's speaking about existing leadership at the national carrier. And interestingly enough, hearing Shabangu speaking about the engagements yesterday, he said initially they'd gone very well and there was a lot of optimism that there would be a resolution about perhaps 6.5% wage increases for now and then maybe resolving some of those other issues down the line. But the deadlock continues, the talks are underway at the moment, and the aviation sector in South Africa is feeling the pinch along with these workers who are undergoing no work, no pay.
All right, from a windy Airways Park in Campton Park, that's ENCA's Aaron Bates with that update there, telling us about a situation perhaps aptly captured by that wind there, a situation where SAA is being lashed by the winds of uncertainty, certainly in as far as its state, financial status, but also this ongoing wage dispute, what it means for the sustainability of that airline. So we'll continue to track that story here on ENCA.